Everyone. Well, before I start, I would like to thank the International Network of Research and Training on behalf of the General Conference Chair Professor Salahuddin Karret for accepting our research contribution. And I would also like to thank everyone who contributed to this research manuscript. Now, I will start by introducing myself. My name is Touila Ali. I'm a PhD candidate at Qadi Iyad University and a member of Laboratoire d'Ingénierie Informatique et Système. This work is an equal contribution between Ms. Stitini Umaima and I. So today I will be presenting our work, which is titled How Can We Analyze Emotion on Twitter During an Epidemic Situation? A feature engineering approach to evaluate people's emotion during the COVID-19 pandemic. Moving now to the outlines. First, we will start by an introduction and literature review, and the problematic, research objective, research methodology, proposed solution, research result, and a conclusion and some perspective. So, the WHO declares that the COVID-19 to be a public health pandemic. Social media has played a critical role into the outbreak of the virus and continues to do so as it spreads worldwide. This pandemic has been a source of extreme danger and confusion due to information shared of global social network. Twitter has been very active during this outbreak, and a lot of textual data, opinions, sentiments, and even emotion were shared in this platform. This research targets the utility of using this data to gain insights and make use of it to evaluate people's emotion during an epidemic situation with natural language processing techniques and machine learning. Let's move now to the literature review. So, there is too many types of sentiment analysis and emotions. First one is fine-grained sentiment analysis, which is basically a sentence broken into phrases or clauses, and each part is analyzed in a connection with others. Simply put, you can identify who talks about the product and what exactly a person talks about their feedback. The second one is emotion detection. So, sentiment analysis aims to detect positive, neutral, or negative feelings from the text, whereas emotion analysis aims to detect and recognize types of feelings through the expression of text such as anger, disgust, fear, happiness, sadness, and surprise. The third one is aspect-based sentiment analysis, which is a text analysis technique that recognizes data by aspects and identify the sentiment attributed to each one. Aspect-based sentiment analysis can be used to analyze customer feedback by associating specific sentiments with different aspects of a product or a service. The last one, which is intent analysis, comes from the intent or ION analysis. Generally, this term is to acknowledge the intention from the text. Intention implies intentions to sell, or intention to complain, intention to purchase, etc. There is a need to understand what the intentions behind the text and the actions are. Move on to our research questions. The first question is, how can we analyze emotions on Twitter during an epidemic situation? Second one is how to perform a multi-class classification task using machine learning and natural language processing. And the third one is what technique to use to improve the accuracy of our classifier. So, our research objective consists of three objectives. The first one is to create a model that differentiates between emotion from the positive ones to the negative ones. The second one is to improve emotion detection model via the feature engineering approach. And the third one is a robust multi-classifier model for emotion detection. So our research methodology is divided into three phases. The first phase is data collection. The used dataset in this research is a subset of a huge COVID-19 tweets dataset, which consists of more than 8 million semantically annotated tweets about COVID-19 pandemic using aspect and natural language processing techniques. We took a subset of this anonymized data and built a scraping framework in order to extract the tweet text using Twitter API. And we check if it has a balanced data. If yes, we move on to the next step. If no, we repeat the same process until we have a balanced data. Cleaning step consists of a basic natural language processing techniques and text mining, like removing punctuation, top words removal, special correction, and irrelevant words removal. The feature extraction is a step where we structure our data into so it can fit to our classifier. Here we use techniques like TF, IDF, and count vectorizer. So when we have a ready dataset, it's time to feed it into our model. The classic method is to train the model directly with the first dataset to stress test and see how far it can predict the emotion and differentiate between classes. So, to improve the accuracy, the technique we used is to look at the feature importance of logistic regression, and higher is the score, more important is the feature. And then we took those features and we calculate the count of each one in every tweet and append it into the training set. The whole of our analysis will allow us to create new training variables that we think will have a significant impact on our model. So we will first model our data using just the text as a variable. We will create in the jargon of the textual analysis a bag of words, and then we use it as a training basis of our classifier. So let's have a look about the research results. It can be seen that the models with the study variables performs much better than the baseline approach. We can see that the accuracy goes up to more than 15% for each algorithm, which means that this new approach performs well and improves the detection of emotions, which approaches a pretty fair prediction. Research explores the number of tweets during the COVID-19 pandemic, emotional tones and forms of posts on Twitter using natural language processing technique and machine learning. Hence, we can improve this research methodology using some other techniques like stacking, boosting, or why not using a deep learning approach with the minimum amount of data. So, thank you for your attention. Please, if you have any question, never hesitate.